My girlfriend said, "People stray eventually." I replied, "I protect who deserves protecting." Then I opened her laptop, screenshot 6 months of emails, met his wife at a coffee shop, handed over the evidence, blocked my girlfriend, and I just watched as the agency imploded overnight. Welcome back to Family Tales. My 30M girlfriend, 28F, thinks cheating is just human nature. Turns out she's speaking from experience. As you listen, ask yourself what you would do if the person you love started defending betrayal like it was inevitable. Marissa and I had been together about 8 months. She worked at a trendy marketing agency downtown. Exposed brick walls, kombucha on tap, everyone under 35. She was a senior account manager and really good at her job. The company, Meridian Creative, had a solid reputation in the city and big-name clients. Last weekend, we were watching a show where a wife finds out her husband is having an affair. It was the kind of plot that makes you tense up without even trying. Marissa barely looked up from the screen and said, "I don't get why people get so worked up about cheating. Monogamy is just a social construct anyway. Everyone strays eventually. It's basic human biology." I tried to laugh it off. I said, "Well, I guess I'm not everyone then." But she doubled down. She went on a long speech about how one person can't meet all your needs, how variety is natural, how our ancestors weren't monogamous. She even mentioned bonobos and said she read some study. The way she said it was not curious or open. It was flat and confident, like she was explaining gravity. What bothered me wasn't just the opinion. It was how casual she was about it, like she already accepted betrayal as part of any relationship. Micro-commentary moment. When someone talks about cheating like it's normal, listen closely. People don't usually defend something that hard unless they need that defense for themselves. I asked her, "Is that how you feel about us?" She backtracked a little. "Oh, you know what I mean, babe. I'm just saying people shouldn't be so judgmental. Love is complicated." I told her commitment mattered to me. She rolled her eyes and said, "That's very sweet and idealistic of you." Then she changed the subject. She started talking about work and how stressful her new project with Gregory was. That was the end of the conversation. She acted normal after that, like nothing happened, but I couldn't stop replaying it. I'd been cheated on before. My ex-fiancée had an affair with her yoga instructor for 6 months before I found out. It crushed me. I went to therapy. I did the work. I rebuilt my trust slowly, like rebuilding a house after a fire, and Marissa knew that. So hearing her dismiss fidelity like it was naive felt personal. It felt like she was telling me my pain was silly. I also couldn't ignore one other thing. She had been working late a lot lately, and her boss, Gregory, had been texting her at weird hours. Like 10 p.m. on a Sunday with urgent messages. She talked about him like he was a genius. Brilliant. Visionary. He really gets me. It was a little too much praise for a married creative director. Micro-commentary moment. Admiring a mentor is normal. Hero worship is different. Hero worship is how boundaries get blurry without anyone admitting it. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself it was just my past talking. Then the universe handed me an opening I didn't ask for. One day, Marissa rushed out and forgot her laptop at my place. Around noon, she called and asked if I could bring it to her office. I work from home as a software developer, and I was swamped. I told her I'd drop it off after 600. The laptop sat on our table all day, and I stared at it more times than I want to admit. I knew her password. She used the same one for everything since college. I'd warned her about it before. She never changed it. By late afternoon, my thoughts were loud. That cheating is human nature speech kept looping. Those late-night texts kept flashing in my mind, so I did something I probably shouldn't have. I opened the laptop. At first, I told myself I was just looking for proof that I was wrong. A few boring work emails, a normal thread, something that would make me feel stupid for doubting her. Instead, I found 6 months of evidence that my gut was right. There were email threads between Marissa and Gregory. At the start, they were professional. Late-night work sessions, quick notes, deadlines. Then they turned personal. They started complaining about stress. Then they started sharing private feelings. Gregory wrote about his cold marriage to his wife, Helena. He said she was all business and no passion. He said he felt trapped. Marissa replied with sympathy. And then she wrote about me. She called me sweet but predictable. She called me safe. She said I was the safe choice while I figure things out. Then the emails got more intimate. You understand me. Nobody gets me like you. Then it went even further. They were planning hotel meetups during client conferences, and then I saw the line that made my stomach drop. Gregory asked if she felt guilty. Marissa wrote, "Why should I feel guilty about being human?" Pete lives in this fantasy world where people can just turn off their desires. It's honestly kind of sad. He thinks love is supposed to be like a Disney movie. I just sat there, staring at the screen. Her speech wasn't philosophy. It was a cover story. She wasn't describing human nature. She was describing herself and calling it biology so she wouldn't have to face what she was doing. Micro-commentary moment. This is what people do when they want the benefits of loyalty without the limits. They turn selfish choices into truth so they don't have to feel shame. I thought it couldn't get worse. Then I found the emails about Helena. Gregory wasn't just cheating. He was planning to ruin his wife professionally. Helena co-founded Meridian Creative with him about 8 years ago. They built it together. She owned 50%. She was not just his wife. She was his partner. And Gregory was plotting to push her out. He was talking about restructuring the business, diluting her stake, timing a divorce right after he secured control. He even wrote that the clients love me and that once he got control, he could run the company with creative vision instead of bean counting. Marissa was helping him. They even fantasized about running the company together as a power couple once Helena was gone. I felt cold all over. This wasn't just cheating. This was betrayal stacked on betrayal. I spent the rest of the afternoon taking screenshots and forwarding key emails to my personal account. By the time I dropped Marissa's laptop off at 600, I had a full set of proof. Marissa greeted me with a big smile. She kissed me and said, "You're the best boyfriend ever. I don't know what I'd do without you." The disconnect was unreal. She looked me in the eyes like everything was fine after months of lying. I didn't confront her that night. I didn't even know what to say yet. Part of me wanted to disappear. Another part kept thinking about Helena. Helena was about to be blindsided in 2 ways, her marriage and her life's work. I couldn't sleep. I kept asking myself one question. Do I walk away and protect myself, or do I warn the person who doesn't even know she's being set up? Micro-commentary moment. You don't owe the world your peace. But when you're holding evidence that someone is about to be robbed, it's hard to pretend you didn't see it. A couple days later, I made a choice. I found Helena's work email on the company website. I sent her a short message. I didn't include the evidence in writing. I just told her who I was and that I had documented proof involving her marriage and her business partnership. I asked to meet. Hours passed. Then she replied with a time and place. Tuesday, 5:00 p.m., at a coffee shop called Grind Coffee on 5th Street. When I got there, I recognized her right away. Tall, professional, calm. The kind of person who looks like she keeps everything together, but she also looked tired, like she'd been carrying weight for a while. She sat down and went straight to the point. "You said you have information about Gregory." I told her I was Marissa's boyfriend. I told her I found evidence of an affair. Her face stayed neutral, like she was processing facts, not feelings. Then I mentioned the business plan. That's when something changed in her eyes. I showed her the emails. She read them slowly, methodically. Her expression shifted from controlled to sharp anger when she reached the parts about forcing her out. "The affair hurts," she said quietly, "but this is different. This is theft." She asked me to forward copies of everything. I did it right there. Then she thanked me and left. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. A few days later, I got a text from Helena. She said she called an emergency board meeting with investors. Gregory walked in expecting a normal review. Instead, Helena presented a full case. She had printed emails, texts, hotel receipts, and a clean timeline. She didn't just accuse him of cheating. She accused him of trying to defraud his business partner. According to Helena, Gregory turned pale. He denied it. Then he tried to say it was out of context. Then he tried to minimize it. But Helena had lawyers. She had documentation. She had the board in the room. Gregory was suspended pending investigation that day. Then Helena posted on LinkedIn. It was professional but devastating. It was about ethics, partnership, trust, and what happens when personal character leaks into business decisions. She didn't use names, but she gave enough details that people in their industry knew exactly who it was about. That night at around 2:00 a.m., Marissa called me. She was crying and panicking. She said her career was over. She kept saying someone sabotaged her. She had no idea it was me. She was calling me for comfort like I was still her safe place. I listened, and it took everything in me not to react. She started ranting about jealous people spreading lies. She painted herself as a victim of a conspiracy. Micro-commentary moment. This is the part that messes with your head. A person can lie for months, then cry like they are the one who got hurt. The next morning, Helena told me she had told Marissa where the evidence came from. That's when Marissa's calls changed. First came sobbing apologies, then angry blame, then cold rage. Helena also updated me on what happened at the company. Gregory was fired by the end of the day. The board decided his actions were grounds for termination and possible legal action. Marissa was fired the same morning. An employee sleeping with the married executive while discussing fraud against the co-owner was too big a liability. The LinkedIn post spread fast. People started commenting with their own stories about Gregory. Apparently, this wasn't his first affair. It was just the first one that got exposed in a way he couldn't bury. Helena filed for divorce. Her lawyer believed she could keep most assets and full control of the company, especially with proof of his attempted scheme. Then Marissa called me again. I made the mistake of picking up. "How could you do this to me?" she sobbed. "I loved you." "You loved me," I said, "but you called me boring and predictable. You said I lived in a fantasy world." "That was just venting," she said. "I was confused. Gregory made me think." "No," I cut her off. "Don't blame him. You made your choices." She tried to shift again. "It was just physical. It didn't mean anything." "It meant something to Helena," I said. "It meant something to me, and it meant enough to you that you did it for 6 months." She called me vindictive, like that was the only word she had left. I told her, "You said cheating was human nature." "Well, this is mine. I protect people who deserve protecting." Then I blocked her. I won't pretend I felt nothing. There was grief in it. Not because I missed the lies, but because I missed the person I thought she was. But every time I started to soften, I remembered that relieved look on her face during that monogamy is unrealistic speech. She wasn't debating. She was preparing her excuse. Helena texted me later and thanked me again. She said she was grateful that at least one person in the situation had integrity. 6 months passed. People kept asking me what happened next, so here it is. Gregory's reputation didn't recover. In the marketing world, trust is currency. Once his name was connected to cheating and business betrayal, clients didn't want to touch him. He tried to start his own consultancy. It didn't work. People Googled him. They saw the story. Doors closed. Last I heard, he was working at a car dealership in Phoenix, trying to reinvent himself as a customer experience specialist. Marissa's fairy tale also died fast. The moment things fell apart, Gregory ghosted her. The man who promised her they'd run the company together dropped her when she became a risk. Mutual contacts said that when she begged him for help, he told her to stop being needy. He couldn't afford to be associated with her anymore. Marissa bounced through temp jobs. Then she left town. 2 weeks before she moved, she emailed my work address. She wrote a long message asking me to set the record straight and claim Helena exaggerated. She even said Gregory manipulated her and she was a victim too. I didn't reply. Even then, she still wanted someone else to fix what she broke. Friends said she moved back to Ohio and works at her dad's insurance office. The marketing world is smaller than people think, and her reputation followed her. Helena, on the other hand, thrived. The company's revenue went up after she took full control. She restructured operations, hired new creative leadership, and focused on work that actually brought results. I saw her once at a coffee shop. She looked lighter. She introduced me to the person she was dating. Then she said, "This is the guy who saved my company." I told her I didn't save it, I just told her the truth. She did the rest. As for me, it took time. Being cheated on again in a different way messed with my confidence. I questioned my judgment. I questioned my ability to trust my own gut. I went back to therapy for a few months. It helped more than I expected. I learned that being fooled doesn't mean you're stupid. It means someone chose to lie. About 3 months ago, I started dating someone new. Her name is Carmen. On one of our first serious talks, she said, "I don't understand people who think cheating is inevitable. If you want someone else, be honest. Life's too short to waste time lying." It was simple, but it hit hard. Healthy people don't justify betrayal as biology. They either commit or they leave. Carmen and I are moving in together next month. It's quiet and normal in the best way. No speeches about human nature. No late-night urgent texts that feel off. Just honesty. Marissa tried to add me on Facebook 2 months ago. I declined. Some bridges are meant to stay burned. Lesson 1: when someone normalizes cheating, they may be practicing what they preach. Lesson 2: monogamy is a social construct, can be a mask for "I don't want consequences." Lesson 3: if a person can betray their spouse, they can betray their partner and their business partner too. Lesson 4: protecting your peace is valid, but warning an innocent person can also be the right choice. Lesson 5: accountability sounds boring to dishonest people, but it is the foundation of real love. What would you have done if you found those emails? Would you walk away quietly or warn Helena? And have you ever had someone justify betrayal with "it's just human nature"? Then prove they meant it.